Under the scorching sun of the savannah, silence is often a dangerous lie. At a muddy marsh where the boundary between life and death is blurred by thick black slime, one of the most primal dramas of nature is unfolding. A lone lioness, a predator with tightly braided muscles, is gambling everything on a survival wager. Her opponent is no ordinary creature, but an African buffalo with horns like 2 blocks of cold iron. In the chaos of splashing water and heavy gasps, the lioness does not choose a swift attack. She uses her weight and ruthless patience, attempting to drown the head of her prey into the deep mud to finish it by suffocation. But just as the hope of the buffalo seems buried under the murky water, a massive dark shadow emerges from the bushes. A second buffalo, a true rolling stone, charges with incredible speed. The thunderous strike from those powerful horns tosses the predator out of her dominant position. Now, the scene is a haunting sight. 3 creatures smeared in mud, their breaths merging in an exhausted rhythm. Their eyes are locked on each other. It is no longer just a hunt, but a battle of wits where physical strength has reached its ultimate limit. The marsh is no longer a source of wonder. It has become an arena of endurance. Amidst the air thick with fatigue and the pungent smell of mud, a change is occurring. As the individual effort of the lioness begins to be eroded by the stubbornness of the 2 buffaloes, the ground beneath their feet starts to tremble. A dull rhythm, at first only small vibrations under the soles of the feet, quickly develops into a seismic event of life. On the horizon, where the heat rises to create dancing mirages, a dark wall appears. It is the buffalo herd. Hundreds of pairs of horns bob like waves on a black ocean. They do not approach with chaotic haste, but with a silent yet unstoppable pressure. For the lioness, this is a grim, turning point of fate. At this moment, inside the mind of the predator, a cold biological calculation is being made. In this harsh natural world, a severe wound means a slow death sentence. A lone lioness might defeat 1 or even 2 opponents, but against the power of a collective, the price for a meal has exceeded the profit brings. The lioness is a brilliant strategist, and she understands that to survive until tomorrow, she must accept retreat today. With a low growl full of regret, but still maintaining authority, the lioness slowly backs away. She does not flee in fear, but retreats with a wary respect, her eyes never leaving the ones who almost became her prey. She quietly vanishes into the strips of sunburnt tall grass, leaving the marsh arena to its true owners. As the herd approaches, a touching scene unfolds. They do not trample or shun the injured members. Instead, that massive crowd surrounds the 2 survivors, creating a solid living shield. Wet noses gently touch the mud on the bodies of their companions, and snorts sound like silent words of comfort. The 2 exhausted buffaloes, now protected within the arms of the entire community, are shielded by thousands of pounds of muscle and unshakable solidarity. The solitude of the predator has had to give way to the strength of connection. To understand how a giant army could appear just in time on a vast plain, we must enter a world of sound that human ears usually cannot grasp. The savannah is never truly silent. Beneath the rustle of dry grass is a sophisticated communication network, an early warning system that the buffalo species has perfected through millions of years of evolution. African buffaloes possess a special vocal mechanism. They do not only rely on loud bellows to express fear. Instead, they use low-frequency sounds, dull vibrations emanating from deep within their massive chests. These sound waves have a magical physical property. They're not scattered by wind or blocked by dense bushes. They travel through space and even through the ground, allowing individuals miles away to feel changes in the environment. This is not a language of complex commands. Buffaloes do not cry for help by specifically naming the enemy as a lion. Instead, they transmit modulation signals. A low, short call from a buffalo in distress will trigger a chain reaction. This signal spreads like a ripple on a lake. The nearest buffalo will receive it, adjust its position, and whether intentionally or not, continue to pass that message further. This bonding happens silently, but extremely effectively. Upon noticing a disturbance, the entire herd does not fall into chaotic panic. They recalibrate, a calculated formation adjustment. Large males on the outer edges slightly turn their gaze, leading females adjust their pace, and calves are pressed tightly into the center of the massive muscle block. Each individual in the herd acts as a knot in a vast neural network. Just a small feedback, a shoulder nudge, or a footstep narrowing a gap by half a body length is enough to seal every crack. This communication does not need loud displays. It is a wordless dialogue based on absolute trust in the reactions of their kind. It is this low-frequency communication that turns a group of separate individuals into a single entity, a creature with thousands of eyes and ears, always ready to react to any intrusion into their safety zone. In the natural world, space is not just a void. It is a type of weapon. When the buffalo herd assembles, we witness a miraculous change in the dynamics of the planet. That is when the power of geometry reigns, where density and presence carry more weight than any act of violence. As the buffalo individuals move closer together, the space around them begins to compress. For a predator like a lioness, hunting relies on the ability to isolate prey and create escape routes when needed. However, before a solid black wall of hundreds of massive bodies, every predatory gap is eliminated. The lioness no longer sees a single buffalo. She only sees an impenetrable mass of matter. This change in density makes the space of the predator shrink suffocatingly, forcing her to calculate not how to attack, but the way out. Interestingly, the herd does not need to launch a horn strike or a threatening roar to win. They win by presence. The pressure they create is an extreme psychological pressure. The silence of hundreds of animals looking in one direction, sharing one rhythm of breath, creates an invisible barrier firmer than any stone wall. In that silence, the message sent is perfectly clear. You do not belong here. And then, as soon as the threat disappears into the screen of burnt grass, another astonishing state transition occurs. The storm of tension vanishes as quickly as it arrived. The buffaloes do not hold onto animosity or aggression. Within minutes, the rhythm of daily survival returns. Heads lower, teeth begin to rhythmically grind the dry grass, and tails flick again to ward off annoying flies. The silence after the storm is proof of an energy-efficient lifestyle. They do not waste emotions on past conflicts. They simply adjust their formation and continue the journey to find water sources. The marsh, where a life and death encounter just took place, now returns to its inherent stillness. The overlapping footprints in the mud are the only evidence left of a confrontation where solidarity completely changed the rules of the strong. In the world of buffaloes, helping is not a rare event. It is a durable structure, a quiet but powerful adjustment of the ranks. As the sun begins to tilt its shadow, dyeing the vast plain in gold, we realize that what we just witnessed was not just a battle between hunter and prey. It was a powerful testament to a deeper truth about life on this planet. In the modern world, we often worship outstanding individuals, powerful lone predators, or self-reliant heroes. But here, in the heart of the African wilderness, a different story is being told. A story of interdependence. True strength is not always found in sharp claws, the agility of an assassin, or pure muscle power. Sometimes, the greatest strength lies in the ability to respond, the willingness to answer a call for help, even if it is just a vague vibration in the ground. These buffaloes do not possess complex intelligence like humans, but they possess a noble instinct, the instinct to never leave a companion alone in the mud. Look at the serenity of the herd as they continue their journey under the sunset. There is a poetic beauty in their existence. The survival of the individual is thanks to the stability of the collective, and the stability of the collective is built from the loyalty of each individual. That invisible but unbreakable bond is the architecture of survival. It reminds us that even in the harshest environments, where death is always near, empathy and team spirit are still the most powerful evolutionary tools. Each of us, when watching these scenes, perhaps feels a strange connection. Is it because deep in the soul, humans are also a social species? We also need living shields when in trouble, and we also long to belong to a herd where we are protected. Nature does not just teach us about the animal world. It illuminates the hidden corners of our own nature. As night gradually falls and the sound of rustling grass becomes the main sound of the plains, we part with the buffalo herd in deep respect. The natural world is always full of such wonders if we are patient enough to observe and listen. Hope that this story of silent solidarity has given you a new perspective on the beauty and resilience of life. If you feel moved by the wonders of this fragile common home, please accompany us. Subscribe to the channel to continue exploring the endless journeys of the natural world. See you again in the next films, where we will together celebrate life on this wonderful earth.